With 1.15 landing, everybody is going to want to know how to get as much honey as possible. So this is the absolute best and simplest farm for gathering lots and lots of bottles of honey. Let's dive in. So here we are inside of Minecraft, and this is my little bee home. This is how I will be collecting honey using this amazing build. So here is how it works. Right now, all the bees are inside of their little hives and nests, but they will pop out, and there is 3 bees per hive. That is how many can be inside of a hive at any one time. So in front of the hives and nests are 3 flowers. So there should always be enough flowers to go around for the amount of bees that we have. And then on the back end, you have some comparators, and they will check the honey level of the beehive or the bee nest, and then it will send a redstone signal around. Now I know that this redstone all looks like jumbled up and weird, but because it will always take an extra jump to go from side to side, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different redstone levels, whenever one of these sends an output of an extra signal, the moment that it gets over here to this repeater, then that will activate the dispenser on top of it, which has full of glass bottles, and it will capture the honey. The honey will then be deposited into the hopper and then into the chest over here, so we can easily get, and one just happened. There we go. Look at that. Got some honey already. I just built this, so we don't have any more honey. We'll check that at the end of the video as I build this for you guys. Cool thing about this is that this is tileable, so you can have this be, you know, big as you want. 64, doesn't matter. 100, doesn't matter. So you can have as many little bee farms areas like this as you want. And my suggestion is to find a bee nest that already has some bees in it and use Silk Touch to pick it up. You'll tell if there are bees inside by hearing the buzzing sound nearby. By the way, this is a flower forest, and this is really the easiest way to find beehives because there is a 5% chance whenever a tree spawns that it will have a beehive. Then there's only 3 biomes that will work in: plains, sunflower plains, and flower forests. And flower forests have the most trees out of those biomes. So if you want to find a lot of hives, then I suggest that you head on over to a flower forest, try to find a flower forest, and you'll have your bees. So we can hear that there are bees inside of there. So if we use the Silk Touch tool, we'll be able to, and you can also just use this plain old Silk Touch book because you can pick this up with your hand. Then you'll pick it up with bees inside. You may want to be very patient and know how many bees are inside, because if there's at least 2 of them, then when you get them to your build later, you can breed them up to the number that you need in order to always have bees inside of the hives or nests to make the honey. So if there's 2 bees inside of here, then I would totally recommend that you pick this up. If there's only 1, oh, there was 2. Darn it, I could have totally picked that one up. So then, if I was in survival, I'd wait around until both of the bees went back into that hive, use Silk Touch, and pick it up. So how do you build this yourself? Well, start off with placing your chests on the ground. Hello, little cow. And so you can put down as many as you want. Probably what is going to be your limiting number here is how many beehives you have, considering that you need to have the honeycomb in order to make a beehive, an artificial bee nest. So search around for all of the bee nests that you can find to get as much honeycomb, and the amount of chests that you're putting down is basically exactly how many hives you're going to be able to have. Before we made 4, but why don't we just go crazy and let's make 6 this time. Now take a hopper and place them onto either side of the chests, and then realize that the chests do need to open. And so this side will be where I put my dirt, and this side will be where I put my redstone. The side that has the overhang, where the chest has air above it, that will need to be the redstone side, because you can put a slab on top of those hoppers on this side. Then you can go ahead and add your hives, and you can leave an open space for whichever nest you decide to bring over, or if you're in creative like me, you can go ahead and just place down the last one, but that one you would keep open for your nest that you would bring later. Now on the back, go ahead and add some solid blocks. It doesn't have to be iron, but I use that so you can easily count blocks. Then go up one solid block and build that out all the way. And then place a temporary block and a slab on the top portion of that block. And then continue that slab across just like so. Then you can build with solid blocks the rest of the way up to the edge of these hives right here. Right on those, you're going to be putting your dispensers facing downward. So make sure you grab an edge of a block so that the dispenser will face into the beehive. Then into those dispensers, put all of your bottles. Now, you're going to need a lot of bottles because you need to make sure that every space is full. If even a single space is open, then you will have the honey go back into the dispenser after it has been harvested, I should say. This is a non-necessary step, but if you really want to make sure that you are never going to run out of bottles, you can put a hopper on the top and fill that with bottles as well. Although this is an awful lot of honey, so you're probably not going to run into that issue all that much. You could probably just go and manually check in to make sure that you are not running out of bottles. Now it's time for us to do our redstone, and we're just going to temporarily destroy these blocks so that we can reach over and place our comparators right beside the hives. Then we can place all of that back. Then we just need to fill everything except for right up next to these hoppers with redstone. So just reach in there and just spam redstone so that you have every bit of space covered. And all the way up, like I said, up to those hoppers, you're going to leave an empty space right there for your repeater. Now take your repeater and just point it at those hoppers. Once again, the hoppers are not needed. They're not required. So if you don't have them, that can just be open air. That is totally fine, completely okay to do that. Now it is time to build our little sanctuary for the bees in order for them to actually give us honey. So what we're going to do is take dirt, and remember there's 3 pieces of dirt for each of the hives or nests, depending on which one you install. And then on top of that, you're going to place down all of your flowers. This can be really any type of flower. This doesn't really matter. I like poppy because I like the color red. Now you're going to take your glass and attach it to the edge and make sure you just don't have any gaps so that the bees will not escape. They love to explore and get out of these little areas. Now, I like to add a little doorway just for easy access. So we're going to leave an open space. And I'm also going to chop this tree down because it's getting in the way. That will add a door onto, but make sure that you do add a roof onto that to make sure that they don't escape that way as well. We're going to finish up here and then grab a door and some land. So this will be a little bit of a pathway with a double door situation so that the bees will not be able to escape. And if they do escape, I'll be able to notice them. So we're going to place this door down, open it on the other side, place another door down and open that. And then we'll just make sure that that is totally encased in glass. That way, as I am walking in, I'll always have a secondary option if a bee gets through the first door. So if I open this and I'm in here and I turn around to close this door and there's a bee in here, I can wait until it moves away, then close the door and then get out safely. And same thing on the other way. When I'm entering, there isn't a big open space, close it behind me, open, and then I can close that once that middle area is clear. And then if you hadn't already placed your hive or nest that was full of bees, this is where you would do that. And because I'm in creative, I'm just gonna take a simple bee egg and we're gonna spawn in some bees. Now I have 6 different hives, 6 times 3, that's 18. So the max bees that I really ever need in this area is 18 because 3 can only be inside of a hive at any given time. If you add any more, then you will just have extra bees just kind of chilling out, waiting for a time to pollinate. Oh my gosh, so many bees. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And remember that your bees will breed with flowers. So if you wanna jump in there and then spam a whole bunch of flowers to get them to all love each other and create baby bees, then you can do that as well. Every time a bee enters into the nest, they will spend 2 minutes inside of there and then they'll come out and the honey level will increase by 1 as long as they entered with pollination on their behinds. just like that one right there. That one, once it gets over to a nest, they will raise the pollination level. And I didn't mention this, but I do need to just quickly mention it, that the beehives and nests, they do have a front side, and that front side needs to be pointing into the glass. If you had this rotated so that the front was over here, the bees would exit and enter over there. You don't want that. You want to make sure that both the front on the hive, which is indicated by that little slot there in the front, or these two little openings on the nest, then they are that they're pointed into that open air space so that the bees will stay trapped. Now I mentioned that I'd head over here and check out what our original farm was doing. This one only had 4 little areas for the bees. So let's see what we've gathered. We've gotten 3 honey there, 3 there, 2 there, and 3 there. And I think I've been recording for about 10 minutes. So that only took 10 minutes to generate that amount of honey, which is a pretty good thing considering the alternative is to run around and find these hives, and it just would take so much longer. So set this up in an area that's going to be loaded, and this will happen naturally. The bees will just continue to make tons of honey for you. There you have it. Now you can get as many honey bottles as you want. I still need to make a new design of this farm in order to get honeycomb, because whenever you shear the hive or nest, the honeycomb goes flying everywhere. So I'll be working on that for you guys in the future. Thanks so much for watching this episode of OMG Craft. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give this video a big old thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe for future videos, tips, tricks, tutorials, and spotlights here on OMG Craft. I'll see you next time. Bye.